Guys, off-season workouts are starting to begin. Phase 1 of the OTA workouts. But guess what? Is it really an off-season around here? That's what I'm trying to get at. Is it really and truly an off-season around here when it comes to Pigskin Frenzy, when it comes to football itself? Because there's so much, headlines, news coming out of workouts and coming out of, the league off the field as well. And when you look at it, you're thinking to yourself, is it truly an off-season? Is it really an off-season? Late Kick host Josh Pate, he covers college football. I know this is an NFL episode, but he covers college football. He dreads the word off-season. And around here, we can say the word off-season, but is it really truly an off-season in the NFL or in college or just in football in general? There's so much going on in football that we don't realize that's not, it has to be played on the field. It can be off the field headlines as well. And we're going to get to some off the field headlines as well here in just a little bit with the latest on Chiefs WR Rashee Rice. But is it truly an off season? That's what the question is. That's what we can title this episode. Is it truly off season? Is it truly, just a dead period and quiet period? It feels like it when there's no action being played on the field and on the grass and on the turf. Was it truly all that quiet? Welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this wonderful and, bright, as you can see behind me on YouTube, Thursday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris, and whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Podbean or Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, and leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. Instagram, X, and Facebook, just type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You're going to get episode updates. You're going to get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's NFL question, as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. You can answer all, and I mean all, or get your questions answered there. Ask away. Type in your email. You can get all things Pigskin Frenzy. Go to my home and About Me page. Contact me down there. Get to know me more as well by reading the bio and the descriptions. Go to the platforms page. You can pick out which of the platforms you want to listen to this show on. YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, all the stuff that I just named. Go on that platforms page on the website and pick it and pick out what you want to listen to and which platform you want to listen to. Get new listeners coming into the show, guys, as well as our affiliations page. Partners, which is the Beard Club. Guys, if you want a great shave, just to look good and to feel good about your face, even though I have kind of a scruffle right now on my face, but go to the Beard Club. Significant others of men and men out there listening to my show, you're not going to be disappointed in the Beard Club. Guys, there is a beard grooming kit that you can get right now. 15% off on Pigskin Frenzy and 15% off if you go to my website. If you go to the website for the Beard Club, 15% off for those deals. You can get 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, loofahs, beard boar bristle brush, beard wash, beard and face wash, body wash, you name it, beard balm, beard oil, a lot of products that you can get for Pigskin from the Beard Club through my website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. You can go to the affiliations page, click on the logo, and you can get, bear with me, you can get straight to the website and then get all the products you need for beard grooming kits, as well as the link tree, X, Instagram, and Facebook. Click on the link tree on my bios there. You can go to the link tree and you can click on the Beard Club there. So, Beard Club, it is best for your grooming needs and facial hair needs. Thank you to being our proud partner at the Beard Club, proud partner of Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, let's talk about NFL football, and let's talk about today. My voice, I'm not trying to sound monotone. I'm just, I'm going to get there. I'm just, I'm just thinking about the offseason in general. And I'm thinking about, is it a kind of a quiet period? That's the whole really theme of this. And you're going to think, and as I tie this in at the end of the episode, you're going to think, it's not really all that quiet after all. It sounds quiet because there's no football being played. The draft's over. We're not covering the draft anymore. We're in a period now where it's like, okay, we're in May. We're going to get through May. Then we're going to get through June. Talk about we're now covering the offseason workouts. We're covering OTAs, mini camp. The first phase of OTAs is happening now with rookie mini camp. All the rookies are starting to report to their teams. You're getting there. And we're getting there. We're going to talk about list of games, list of stuff from the 2023 season, maybe stuff to look forward to the 2024. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on during the offseason here on Pigskin Frenzy, and you're going to think it's not that quiet. It's really not that quiet when it comes to NFL football. And when it comes to football in general, it feels that way, but bear with me, and I'm going to tell you and give you some stuff that's happening right now to where you think, oh yeah, it's getting there. We're 4 months out, and we're 4 months out from the NFL. So bear with us here. Let's talk about OTAs and the first set of OTAs and the first phase of OTAs, because this is where it gets interesting, and this is where it kind of builds into what we're talking about with the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to talk about the Chiefs here in just a little bit. Let's talk about their newly found rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals, and how they are reporting and they are getting ready for workouts. OTAs, no contact. You're going to think that's not football. Yeah, it's not, but at the same time, when you look at it, it's getting ready for getting your body ready, getting drilled, and getting ready for training camp in July and August, and getting ready for training camp and preseason in July and August. So it's not, it's really not, contact. There's no need for contact now. There's just drills and getting to know your teammates and getting teammate chemistry down and getting everything ready to go, for the season, right? So, there's a lot happening when it comes to OTAs. The Eagles, they're getting ready. We're going to talk about the Bengals here, but the Eagles, they're getting ready. We'll get back to the Eagles, but there were some pictures shown of them getting ready and them drilling and them running drills and running 7-on-7s and all that, and just getting ready and getting worked out before training camp and shedding some of that rust off. That's what it's all about, shedding the rust off and getting ready for the season. So, or getting ready for the training camp and trying to get in shape to get ready for the season. So that's what this is all about, because their off season is still happening. After OTAs, they'll have another break. And after they get to another break, then we're going to have, training camp, preseason, and then they're going to get back in the football shape as they get through a 17, 18-week season. So when we talk about OTAs, let's talk about what everyone's been waiting for when it comes to rivaling Patrick Mahomes, and that is the status of Joe Burrow. And that is what I'm going to talk about with the Bengals. The Bengals, they've reported to OTAs, and their first set of OTAs, rookie minicamp's going to start. The official OTA workout start early June for the Cincinnati Bengals, but it actually kind of begins now. The first phase of everything starts now. You start gliding in. Joe Burrow reported, and Joe Burrow, because if everyone just talks about who's going to beat Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be the ones to stop the Chiefs for getting that three-peat. It could be anybody, but a lot of people are leaning on towards Joe Burrow because of the history that Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes have. Joe Burrow tore his wrist up, and it was pretty jacked. His wrist was clearly messed up, had to have surgery in multiple different places of his wrist. It was messed up. Hurt it during the Baltimore Ravens game in November. Put the Bengals out, and this was it. That was their season. The question was, it all involves around their O-line, and can they protect Joe Burrow? They did that by having Orlando Brown last season and signing Trent Brown, as well as drafting Amarius Mims. So that's three parts of the O-line taken care of. Can they complete a lot of what's going on in the O-line? So that's one, right? Two, and I say two. Can Joe Burrow, with the protection of the O-line, stay healthy, and can he throw at a maximum capacity? Well, let me go on and tell you something. if you want to see some video of Joe Burrow throwing and seeing how he's doing when he's throwing, go for it. And I'm going to tell you why to go for it, because this man is balling out on another level when it comes to throwing the football right now. He is throwing deep. He's shaking off a little bit of the rust. He's throwing deep, but his wrist is 100%. He's not clear for contact yet. Why would you be clear? Why would you clear him for contact? Honestly, they're going to clear him for contact next month. I wouldn't even do that. I would wait for contact until training camp. Until you start the season. I would hold off as much as I can. I mean, you got to get him used to, taking the hits and getting him ready for the hits. But I would also, up until this point, still wait to clear him from contact, because you don't want to get him hurt now, and you don't want to, get him beat up before the season starts. You want him in prime form. You want him in Joe Shiesty form, right? That's what you want him in. He's throwing at a different level. He's getting better. His wrist is getting better, and that is what a lot of people have been waiting for. So that's a good update there for Joe Burrow and Cincinnati Bengals. They're doing really well in workouts right now. They look prime and ready to go and try to see if they can make a run for that Lombardi trophy. So let's see. The Eagles, they're looking like they're trying to make a run for that Lombardi trophy as well. I saw some drills going on with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. They're getting to know each other. That duo is probably going to be an intense duo if you want to look at it in the NFC East and in the NFC in general. You got Jalen Hurts. You got Saquon Barkley. It's all about the play calling. What's the play calling going to look like, and what's everything going to look like with Kellen Moore with the Philadelphia Eagles? That is a big question going into the season, and that's a big question going in, throughout this run that the Eagles are trying to put together for this season. So they're looking good in their drills. Defensively, they're looking good in their drills as well. Don't know really what the offensive line is looking like until we get there, until we get to probably to more deeper into the OTA workouts. Will the impact Jason Kelce not being there at center, will that hurt them? Who knows? It most likely will, because Jason Kelce is one of the best of all time at the center position. But will it hurt them? And can they move forward without him? That is a big question there, and that's a big question that should be addressed there in the offseason as well for the Eagles. When you look at the Chicago Bears, they are reporting, and I know a lot of people are thinking about, dude, you're reporting on the Bears still? Yeah. I mean, I would report on the Chicago Bears. There's a new sheriff in town with Caleb Williams. Rookie minicamp's coming up. He's reporting to rookie minicamp. Rome Odunze is there. He's reporting to minicamp as well, to rookie minicamp. And the first phase has started. They're getting their workouts in, and they're looking good too. This is what I've been hearing. The Bears are looking like they are coming up with new ways and new plans to create exciting brand of football on offense. And that is what I like to hear when it comes to, some of the weapons they are putting together with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, then they got DeAndre Swift in the backfield, Caleb Williams. Can they develop him and get him ready in prime condition during these workouts? So that's another one. Chicago Bears, look out for them, and we'll have more updates on those other three teams as well. Let's talk about the Chiefs, and this will lead into what we're going to talk about with Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice. So, Chiefs, as you noticed, he's not there, okay? And why would he be? I mean, why would he be? You cannot, and listen, I'm praying for everybody in the situation involved, but you cannot physically bring him to Kansas City, and you cannot physically bring him into the OTA workouts right now. Andy Reid has provided an update on that. He said they are doing it virtually. We will get back to Rashee Rice. Xavier Worthy is reported. Mahomes, everybody's there. They're practicing around. They're working out. No contact. They're throwing. Xavier Worthy, it's going to be a lethal weapon on that offense. He's going to be a problem. And that is why I said last week, you shouldn't have let him draft Xavier Worthy, because he's going to be a problem for this Kansas City offense. You're talking about a guy, along with Hollywood Brown, another fast, speedy receiver who can also catch footballs like Xavier Worthy. You're going to talk about guys, okay, the Chiefs didn't have receivers that could catch footballs. They had Rashee Rice, and that was it. But now, and they had Kelce. But now, but even Kelce, by the way, struggled last season. But now they got two dudes that don't miss a whole lot, right? They don't miss a whole lot. They could miss. I mean, Jamar Chase missed his rookie year, right? He missed a lot during the preseason. And then during his rookie year, during midseason form, he showed out as a wide receiver, especially during the Kansas City Chiefs game. So he showed out. Xavier Worthy has a chance to do that, and so does, Marquise Brown. Obviously he's a veteran, so he will have a lot of time to show out as well in this offense. They got two guys that could replace a lot of the lack of drops that they had. They had Christian Watson. They had MVS. MVS is no longer with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a free agent. They got two guys that can replace him, and those guys can be good receivers along with Travis Kelce, and they can do it without Rashee Rice. They look good in workouts. The defense looks good working out as well and moving around in their physicals. They look really good, and they look like they could be a physical team on defense as well next season. Are they going to lack the presence of L'Jarius Sneed at safety? That's gonna be a question. They got Mike Edwards. They got Trent McDuffie. Are they going to lack the depth in the secondary with L'Jarius Sneed not being there? He's with the Tennessee Titans. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Is he going to lack the depth there? We don't know. But we're going to figure it out. Let's talk about Rashee Rice. The Chiefs look good during their workouts. These are just some small updates on OTA workouts and what's going on there. One of my listeners, who is a friend of mine as well, shout out to Jub. He says about his offseason workouts. He just messaged me and talked about his offseason workouts. I don't know what you're doing during your offseason workouts. You can, mess around, do whatever you want during your offseason workouts. He's not a football player, by the way. You can do whatever you want. All right, you can do whatever you want during your version of OTAs. I don't know your version of OTAs, but you can keep it guessing and keep it amongst yourself, I guess. So, when it comes to Rashee Rice, the latest on Rashee Rice, he's got charges stemming from the multi-vehicle crash, but there's more. But wait, there's more. That commercial? Yeah, there is more. Report has come in that Rashee Rice at a nightclub, according to WFAA News in Dallas, he assaulted a photographer Monday night, and there's investigation going on with that as well. There's a lot going on with Rashee Rice during this offseason. I told you guys, it's not quiet. It's not quiet. Even if you think it's quiet during the offseason, it's not quiet. It's not a quiet offseason. And there's a lot of stuff going on there with him as well. So let's unpack this for a little bit before we move on to the Titans and before we conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy. Not a long episode for NFL edition of Pigskin Frenzy, but pretty good one. Pretty good conversation talk here for a little bit for the past, for the next 30 minutes, right? So, we got about, we'll hang in there for about 10 more minutes. So Rashee Rice has a lot of stuff going on with a multi-vehicle crash. Now this is being brought up. I pray for the victims every day. I pray for him each day. I hope he gets everything turned around. Listen, you're going to probably hate on me for saying this. I pray for each individual. I hope they change, and I hope they get everything right. Is he in the wrong? 100% he's in the wrong. He shouldn't be doing all this stuff. I just hope that he gets a second chance, because on the football field, he's a lethal weapon. He is a good wide receiver for this team. He presented when they were at their lowest when it comes to wide receiver drops, Rashee Rice was there as a rookie receiver from SMU. He came in and balled out when they needed him most. He was going into this season being a true threat and true wide receiver number one option as the Chiefs. Now it's looking like they're going to be without their wide receiver one, quote unquote, for half the season, or could be longer if the investigation adds up to what's going on with this photographer at the nightclub. Now, I understand a lot of the hate going around with him. I just think that, look, Nick Saban believed in second chances. He gave a lot of players second chances, and a lot of those players ended up graduating, playing, had a semi-successful career in the NFL, and now owns a business. Go and look at that press conference on that Michigan State player when he was at Michigan State. Owns a business. So when you look at second chances, you give out second chances. Now, if you keep doing it, then obviously you're going to have to go a different route. You're going to have to go a different route. And cutting him could be a possibility. Suspension, I'm not saying that's going to happen now. I think suspension is in the cards, and I think it should be in the cards. But you got to give him a second chance after all the dust is blown off to revive himself and to redeem himself here. But he's not doing himself any favors by having the offseason that he is having. I think Rashee Rice is a talented receiver. I think he's a great guy, a great receiver on the field. Off the field, however, he's not looking like he is making the best decisions. He's entering his second season in the NFL. He's acting like he's still acting like this is kind of all new to him. And in the NFL, you're going to have to shape up really, really quick. And I think right now, he's starting to learn that. He's starting to learn that right now, that you got to shape up really quick, and he is shaping up really quick when it comes to the NFL. So what do I have to say about Rashee Rice? I hope he gets a second chance. I really do. I hope he gets a second chance. Do I expect a suspension? Absolutely. Will I be surprised if there is not a suspension? Absolutely. I think he needs to get suspended. I think he needs to learn that your actions have consequences, and it affects what you do on the football field as well, and it affects your brand as well. So when you're an NFL player and you're a professional athlete, when you turn pro, air quotes, if you see me on YouTube and I'm holding up the air quotes, pro, when you turn pro, you have a brand behind you. It's becoming like that in college football with NIL and all that. That's a college football discussion. We can talk about that there. But you have a brand behind you, especially when you're in the National Football League. He has a brand behind him, and he's ruining his image. He's ruining his brand by doing this. He's harming it more than anything. You're not only that, you're harming your reputation with the team and on the field. You're making the Kansas City Chiefs not look good either. So it's all ties into one big thing. Everything you do has consequences, and not only that, it can have consequences for others as well, especially if you're a pro athlete. So Rashee Rice, I hope everything works out for him. I really do. We'll have more updates as the situation evolves. Pray that everything gets handled, and pray for all the victims involved as well. A suspension should be in order. Don't know what's going to happen yet there, but I think that I hope everything gets handled right, and I think it needs to get handled properly and right. Suspension should be involved, but I also don't think you should cut him yet, because I think he's a valuable asset to the team on the field, and I think he should be given a second chance to evolve. Now, if trouble keeps coming up, we'll get there when we get there, but for now, a suspension should be it, and we should, after that, get the investigation parts over with during all the suspension, and then move on from there. So that was the Kansas City Chiefs. That was Rashee Rice. That was OTA workouts, and we'll have more updates on it next week. And by the way, next week is the schedule release. The schedule release for the National Football League 2024 season. We're going to have a reaction episode to the NFL schedule release in 2024. It's released this coming up Wednesday, May 15th. Next Thursday is a special episode. And we're going to do a reaction episode for Pigskin Frenzy for the NFL schedule release, as well as have small updates on the OTA workouts behind the schedule release. So we're going to talk about that next week. Let's talk about this particular topic to end the episode. And it's a good topic to have because, like I said, the offseason ain't quiet. I'm going to keep saying it. The offseason ain't quiet. And what do I mean by that? Because it's about building teams as well. It's about building teams, and we're building some teams here. And during the draft, especially, that's why the draft is a crucial part of the offseason, because you're building your next group of guys and next group of stars where they become even brighter on teams. So we're going to talk about this really quick, and we'll conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy after that. Let's talk about dark horse, and it's a dark horse that's coming up. And I was talking to I talked to my dad a lot about football, and we were discussing the AFC South and who is the forefront of the AFC South. I immediately assumed the Texans because Texans won it last year, and then I put the Jaguars behind them because of what they are building as well. And then I got to thinking about the Titans. And I was like, yeah, the Titans, yeah. But then I just got to thinking, let me do some more digging, okay? Let me do some more digging as an NFL and as a football reporter on both NFL and college. Let me do some digging, and I needed to do some digging. First year head coach Brian Callahan, former OC of the Cincinnati Bengals. He is the former OC of the Cincinnati Bengals, Brian Callahan, first-year head coach. And you're thinking, wait a minute, first-year head coach, that may not work out too well. Maybe not. It may be a rebuilding year still. But what he's doing during the offseason should not go unnoticed, and let me tell you why. Will Levis is their starting quarterback. Obviously, he can work with him. Brian Callahan worked with Joe Burrow to become Joe Burrow is now a big star in the NFL, partially because of Brian Callahan. That offense ran pretty good under Brian Callahan, so the offense could be lethal. He had an elite group of receivers that he brought in. Brian Callahan has brought in another elite group of wide receiver in Calvin Ridley. So he's got 3 receivers there that are pretty solid. That receiving room is pretty deep when it comes to starters. You got Will Levis at quarterback, who is entering his second season as quarterback. He's still developing. He can still develop under Brian Callahan. He had a half the season he played and start. Now he's going to start his first full season at starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. Calvin Ridley signed a huge deal at wide receiver as a shock deal because a lot of people thought he was going to re-sign with the Jaguars or go to the New England Patriots. Those were the 2 guys that were fighting for him. He ended up signing with the Titans quietly. They were in play for him the whole time, and no one knew about it. Signed a big-time deal with the Titans. He's going to be there. Then you got DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, a veteran wide receiver who, in my opinion, can still be an elite receiver in big-time games. Now, he's not. Has he dipped a little bit in some performances? He has. He's not elite like he was with the Texans and the Cardinals, but he's still a great receiver. He's still a fantastic receiver. So you got D-Hop and you got Calvin Ridley. Those 2 guys can ball. And then you got the up-and-comer wide receiver who has been in the league for a couple of years, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. He is a solid receiver as well. You got him, and you can play him in the slot as well, and he can make some big-time plays and change the game and change some drives for this Titans offense. So you got Ridley, Burks, and Hopkins. And then you think, okay, we lost Derrick Henry. Shoot, what's going to happen to the running back position? You got 2 solid running backs that you got. You got Tyjae Spears, but you can rotate him out with your other guy who most likely will start, and that's Tony Pollard, who left the Cowboys and joined the Titans during the offseason. And those are 2 guys that can split snaps equally in the run game and can provide a balance of speed and power in the running game. That's what you're looking for in the type of offense that you're running under Brian Callahan. You want a Joe Mixon type back, and you got it with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. They can catch the ball as well, and they can do a blend of speed and power on the ground. You got an offensive line with Lloyd Cushenberry, who is the second or one of the highest paid linemen and centers in the draft. Or not in the draft, we're in the league. Lloyd Cushenberry is now there, a solid playmaker there as well. You added J.C. Latham in the draft out of Alabama. He will help out Will Levis a lot and provide valuable protection for him in the passing game. One of the best, I would say the second best lineman behind Joe Alt in this draft, and the Titans picked him up. So the Titans are building there. And then you can't really forget about their defense. They added Kenneth Murray Jr. from the Los Angeles Chargers at linebacker. You add him in there with Harold Landry. Harold Landry is in there at linebacker. You add him there. You can, do a hybrid linebacker spot with Arden Key, who is an edge rusher on the line, as well as Harold Landry. And then you add to your D-line, you got Devondre Sweat from the draft. You add him into the mix of the draft and how physical and big he was at Texas. You add him into the mix at D-line. You also add Jeffrey Simmons, who can mentor him a little bit. A veteran player out of Mississippi State. You can add him there, and he will provide a good, solid, attack to the quarterback into offensive lineman there at D lineman. And then you got Elijah Molden at corner, Tay Godwin at corner, and then you add a good option at safety with L'Jarius Sneed, who did a trade and sign deal with the Chiefs to go to the Tennessee Titans. You got that on your roster as well in the secondary. He provides a valuable asset on the secondary. Do they need to build up more? Absolutely. But they got talent. They got Chika Okonkwo at tight end. They got Mason Rudolph, if anything happens to Will Levis at quarterback, who led the Steelers to a playoff berth last season. You have guys on this team that you're building up. You got Hassan Haskins at running back as well. Otis Reese at linebacker. He adds into the defense. You got a lot of guys on this team. Anthony Kendall at corner. Eric Garner at quarterback. Or Gardner at corner. Eric Garner at corner. You got a lot of guys on this team that can provide, at least maybe an 8-win team this season. Maybe. Do they go to the playoffs? I don't know. Am I going to put them in the forefront of winning the division? It's hard to say after what the Texans did, but I'm going to tell you what. This could be a team that shocks a lot of people, and you're not going to realize it yet. And it's in Brian Callahan's first year. What they needed was coaching. They needed a coaching staff to come in, and a right coaching staff at that, to provide, to provide the way for a lot of these players and build on this team. They're building. They really are. And now I hope what I just said makes you think, oh, crud, the Titans could be a dark horse in the AFC South, but in the AFC as well. So who knows what the Titans are going to do. It was only a short time ago that they were the number one seed, man. They were the number one seed in 2018, 2019, and then they got eliminated. But it was only a short time ago. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what the Titans are going to do. Are they a dark horse? I would like to think so. Yeah. I would like to think that they are a dark horse team in 2024. They have been building, and that is why the offseason is not quiet. I will keep saying it. That's how I tie everything in, between offseason workouts, between drama on the field, between building teams into a dark horse contender in the NFL. They still got building to do, but it all happens during the offseason. It all happens during the offseason, and then you let it fly in season. And that is why the offseason is not so quiet. Guys, that is all we got for Pigskin Frenzy today. Guys, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you have to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and Facebook, just type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You're going to get episode updates. You're going to get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's NFL trivia question, as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com for everything and up to date on the website for Pigskin Frenzy Beer Club. Thank you for being our partner here for this podcast, guys. We will be back Tuesday for a college football edition of Pigskin Frenzy. We will continue on with our spring results. We went over LSU, South Carolina, UCF, Georgia Tech in this past Tuesday's episode. Go and listen to that and rewatch that. Next time, and this coming up Tuesday, we will have Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and Ole Miss as our spring results. Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and Ole Miss as our spring results for Tuesday's episode. So until Tuesday, I'm Joel Norris signing off. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Until Tuesday, for everybody out there, please and always stay the course.